Welcome to another episode of the Mad Fantasy Football Podcast with your hosts, Begley, Goni, and Wayne.
What's up, Mad Mob? Back at it again with another episode. Hey, trade deadline's come and gone, people. It's come and gone. I hope that you're happy whenever you open up your fantasy app. I hope you're happy with what you see. Gentlemen?
Men?
Yeah.
Are you happy with what you see?
Yes and no.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy.
Any last-second trades y'all made?
Quite a few leagues. No trades, Beggs?
No, I tried to trade Justin Herbert in a Superflex league, and he was only willing to pay a prince's ransom instead of a king. So I said no.
I was trying to push Gabe Davis a second and a third for DK Metcalf. Couldn't get it done. Couldn't get it done.
Coming off a strong week too. He probably regrets it. Hopefully.
Yeah, I really want to shop Debo, honestly. I'm going to have to wait till the offseason, obviously, but hopefully he has a good stretch, towards the playoffs, and I can off that man for something next year. I'm not a fan.
Yeah, there's a lot of offense on that team. I don't like trusting a player that's got a lot of point suckers around him.
And possibility from Trey Lance. Sorry, Beggs.
No, you're good. They're loaded with weapons.
Yeah. I think we're going to switch up the content. Obviously, we're not taking Q&As. We might take a little bit if there's some Dynasty questions. But obviously, the questions are going to die down a lot just due to the fact that the trade deadline has come and gone. I'd say that the Q&As will pick up a lot more in the offseason for Dynasty and all that. So we're going to switch it up. I think we're going to go more – we're obviously covering all the fantasy details that you need to know. But we're going to converse. We're just going to talk about the state of the game. We'll still have our reviews and our previews and all that. But it's just going to be changed up a little bit more, try and be a little bit more entertaining. We're amoebas out here. We change to better entertain you all, to fit the market better. Let's be honest, boys. Fantasy football podcast is a saturated market, and we got to do something to stick out. Am I right?
That's what you got to do. You know what sticks out? A nice doink, like one that was given this weekend to Christopher J. Begley.
Let him know about it.
Man, so after the show that we last did, which hopefully everyone had a happy Thanksgiving. We had a little hiatus. Hope you had a good time with your family. Beggs and I were spitting back and forth at each other about trying to get a doink done before the games happened. And we came
I wish
to
I
an
recorded it.
agreement.
It was comedy.
We should have. We really should have. It went on for a minute. Who would have the better fantasy week? I took Devonta Smith against Green Bay, and he took Alan Lazard against Philly. And as I'm bringing it up and everything, apparently Devonta Smith won. It was very ugly. I won 9.0 to 4.4. Yeah, that brings Begley to 4-10 right now on the season in doinks. Wayne and I both have 7 wins apiece. I'm sitting at 7-3. Wayne at 7-5. So Beggs has a little bit of work to get done here.
Let me just say something. Wayne, what happens when you've got a wheel that just squeaks a lot?
It gets the grease eventually.
You got to give it a little bit of grease. Goni was asking for the grease week in, week out, crying, spilling tears all over his mic. Nobody does doinks with me. I was begging for a doink, Wayne. Was I not? Begging for one.
You were. Them gimmies are done though. I know. If had there been cooler heads, had Goni not been such a whiny baby, you probably wouldn't have taken that one.
I'm not betting on Alan Lazard with Darian Slay shadowing all over the field. I let Goni pick the player.
Nah, you proposed. No. You proposed all set. You wanted Drake London, which I should have took because anyone
I
playing
know.
football this week, absolutely the same result would have happened. But you're like, all right, I need you to get the sixth string guy who just came off the street clothes, like he has street clothes, putting him on. I want you to take him.
I offered you Darius Slayton versus Drake London. You would have won with Darius Slayton.
I mean,
That, it was
You're right.
it was fair. I knew Drake London's value. I offered you fair value for it. You spat in my
Right.
face. You wanted Stephon Diggs against Drake London. So then I just tried to find comparable matchups. We found one. I let you pick the player, and I just took the other side. And Begley luck struck again.
I mean, it sounds like great strategy. Then on my part, it led to a dub. Who's doing it wrong here?
Wayne, I look forward to mini doinks with you in the future, sir.
Tip of the
Tip
cap.
the cap.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I will never let Goni get his way just because he whines. Because, Lord, he whines all the time.
He whined.
Mad Mob, before I hit that record
Slander.
button and after I hit that record button, it's Goni just pouring tears. He hates it when me and Beckley make doinks, but he don't ever want to make it unless it's completely one-sided.
Yeah, it's true.
Just out here winning doinks, man.
Hey, me too. I'm just doing it the old-fashioned way.
You know,
You're-
this
you're
reminds
doing
me.
it- you're doing
I see
it
you
to-
losing a lot more. Also,
You're getting these kills the nuke contract way.
hey man,
Wayne,
dubs are dubs.
this reminds me of the time that Goni started a dynasty league. But before he would start it, he had to have somebody else's first and third and fifth round pick
Facts.
for nothing but a couple of rookie draft picks and a roll of toilet paper.
Listen, Mad Mob, I'll elaborate on that a little bit since this is more of a little conversation episode, in which Goni's going to hate, by the way.
Hate,
He hates it.
hate.
Mad Mob, we had a dynasty startup that we did in this offseason, and Goni started up the league, sent in the chat, and I will give him this. He sent in the chat, the league is activated, trades are live. So we're like, okay. And this is probably 2 months before the season. So we're like, okay. We get around to the draft, and Goni had 2 first-round picks and 2 third-round picks. And we were like, what in the world? How? He traded his rookie first-round pick and a 10th-round pick for this dude's first-round pick overall and his third-round pick overall. And we're like, what?
It was 2 separate trades. Not with the same guy.
What? So he traded a first-round pick in a rookie draft for a first-round pick in the overall draft, and a third round. He got the dude's third round for his 10th round.
And it has to be said that only Goni knows this guy and only Goni has his number.
Not true. Not true.
That is true.
It's true. Nobody knows this guy.
to let the people know what really happened.
And not to
I
mention,
put up a vote.
Goni fleeced this guy in multiple leagues, and then another time within this same league.
And Goni's commission.
What was the prior fleecing?
Until finally, my brother was like, "Dude, give me this guy's freaking number." And Goni put up a fight, but he finally gave up the guy's number.
What was the prior fleecing?
It wasn't prior.
You said I had a. Well, what was the previous fleecing then from whatever you're referring to? Because
You traded with him twice in this league.
No, I didn't. I traded with him. I gave up a first, second, and third in the rookie, and a second next year, I think it was, and then to acquire the first round pick, and then I traded with another guy. I gave him the 10th round pick, and next year's first as well, I believe, is what it was.
You also got his first round rookie pick this year. You traded him Jerry Jeudy and
He wanted Jerry Jeudy, man. I didn't
couple
even
pieces of
offer
pocket.
the trade.
That was the other fleecing. There it was. That's
Jerry
what we're talking
Jeudy
about.
for Metcalf and the first rounder. Yeah.
Come on, man. And
Nobody would do
top
Jerry
4
Jeudy for Metcalf straight up. Yet for Jerry Jeudy, you got Metcalf and a first round.
And it's a top 4 pick as well. He got a top 4 and Metcalf for Jerry Jeudy.
He's fleecing a dude who
He doesn't know.
He only
football.
knows.
That's at the beginning of the year, though. I feel like that's the pick, probably not, but I could definitely see Jerry Jeudy for Metcalf beginning of season. You have DK Metcalf was dead to a lot of people, boys. DK Metcalf was dead to a lot. Beggs, you personally were super high on Jerry Jeudy coming into this year. I think for sure you would have absolutely considered it if it was a one-for-one swap. Obviously, we're 12 weeks into the season now, and you can see how things have gone for both, and it looks like I clearly won the trade on that one. But what I'm saying is that I gave everyone 2 months worth of heads-up time. No one made any moves. I made my moves 2 weeks before the draft. And then you guys didn't even find out until the draft because that's how much you guys keep up with it.
Now, first of all, I was a Jerry Jeudy fan until I saw him play this year. You made that trade in what, week 5, 6?
No, absolutely not.
Gone. It was late because then I
put a
traded
drink on
you for that pick.
It was
like
first.
the next day.
It was like first 2 weeks, maybe.
No.
Put a doink on it. At least 3 weeks in, no less.
Well, now that your number keeps growing, it went from first week to third.
Okay.
It was enough time into the season to where you can had a definitive opinion on Jerry Jeudy.
Okay.
Wayne is agreeing.
Yeah, because Wayne can't remember what happened 4 days ago.
Dude, you absolutely fleeced one of the guys that has no idea what they're doing. Just to put it, it's one of the guys that just.
Goni's the guy. If you play like a game of war with Goni, he's got to have 3 aces in his deck, or he won't play. That's what he is.
I tell you what it is. I tell you what it is. There's just like if you're in a fairly competitive league, and you have, let's say you get all your boys in there.
It was after 1 week.
It's a competitive league, but you need to fill a spot. So you ask the taco of your all's friends group to join. It's like an unwritten rule that you all don't trade with the taco because anybody can fleece him. He's easily fleeceable. You just leave the taco alone. You leave him alone with what he's got. And that's what we all did except for Goni. Goni absolutely scoped out Taco and just absolutely raped him for everything he was worth and laughed at us the whole time he was doing it. When we're all kind
so
of
jealous.
We all kind of had our own gentleman's agreement. Don't trade with the Taco because we all know we can fleece him. We all know he has no clue what he's doing.
The guy's an OG. He's been in this same league that I've been running for the last 5 years, bro. More than half the league has played with him over the course of this time, and that's fair game. Everyone trades with him. It's not like bringing in a brand new guy. If anything, Beggs and Brandon are way newer than he has been. He's been in the league for 5-6 years.
This is my point, Goni. Has Taco ever been a threat in the years that we've played with him?
He may have made the playoffs once or twice.
May have made the playoffs once in 5 years.
Okay.
You are well aware that Begley and Brandon know what they're doing.
Correct.
You are well aware that Taco is not a threat, no clue what he's doing, never a threat. And you scoped him out, man. You scoped him out and you fleeced him. You're supposed to leave the Taco alone. It's an unwritten rule. When you just got, whether he's been in the league for 20 years or 1 year, you know that he's got no clue what he's doing and he's not a threat. You shouldn't fleece him.
Yeah. There was no league veto, nothing. It was just silently pushed through. We showed up on draft day, and he's got a stockpile of picks.
Yeah, Charlie Brown, this is the type of guy that this is your dude in the podcast, man.
This is your guy.
This is your guy. This is who he is behind closed doors.
Wins.
This is who he is behind closed doors, and I feel like you should know that.
Number one fan of the podcast, Charlie Brown, man. If you want to win, those are the moves you make.
You break GAs.
Do you remember when he laughed at me for saying Cam Akers is going to be hot dog water?
I think I said the same,
I do.
actually.
What was the doink? Didn't you guys have a doink as well?
Yeah, Gabe Davis to Hollywood Brown as their running doink. I feel good about it.
It's close.
It's close, and I've missed a month of football.
Oh, but also let me also reiterate. It was after one game I made the Jeudy and DK switch, and Jeudy had his best game of the season. DK did not. So no, it wasn't week 5. I'm just throwing it out there. It was September 18th, which is right before week 2.
Plenty of time to see he was dog water.
Fair enough.
So how do you feel about Hollywood's first game with DK on the field? He did literally exactly what I anticipate him to do on average.
Did the Cardinals call trade for DK? I didn't see it.
No, I was talking about your Hollywood doink with Gabe Davis.
Yeah, he said for the first time we saw Hollywood on the field with DK. I didn't know that an interconference trade happened. When did
DeAndre.
Oh, okay. I felt good about it. I mean, first came off a major injury. I'm okay with that. He's got to get back into game shape.
You're down by 9 points as of right now.
And I've missed a month of football. I'm good. I feel good about it.
He's got it.
It's
What do you
definitely gonna
mean?
be a stretch.
What do you mean he's got to get back into game shape?
He'll get back into game shape.
What are you saying?
I'm saying, look at Michael Gallup. He's getting back into game shape. He's playing better.
That man's been getting back into game shape since year 2.
He stays hurt, man. He's got the weakest ACLs in the league.
But why don't they? They're professional athletes. Time off shouldn't matter. They should just jump right back in when they're healthy and be how they were before, right?
You can't simulate a game. Everybody knows that.
You can't simulate a game. So would you say they've got a bit of ring rust?
Indeed. That's exactly what I'm saying. He has.
Okay.
Well, he has field rust.
Mad Mob. Let's pivot a little bit. We'll go over the CTFL real quick. Goni with a record low this week, 39.9.
Wow.
Me also not doing well, 53.7. Darnell Mooney not getting anything. ETN leaving hurt and Davis Mills getting benched. Hurt me this week, 53.7. Begley outpaced us at 89.3.
Woo-hoo.
And that was good enough to take the overall lead. Goni at 833.08. Myself with 922.66. Begley with 947.14.
Let's go.
We go to the bad teams. I've got Bears Panthers. Panthers won this week. Bears lost. I'm at 7-17 overall. Goni, Jags Lions. Jags won. Lions lost. Puts him at 8-14. Giants Jets for Beggs. Jets won. Giants lost at 14-8. Comfortable lead. I don't even know why I cover this anymore. I'll tell you what. I cover it because you're supposed to. Not just because you're doing good. I do it because you're supposed to.
Yeah, exactly. Well, real classy move, Wayne. Tip of the cap to you.
Hold the tip of the cap because this is where it's going to get a little messy, gentlemen. Last week, Mad Mob, as you know, the DFS lineup, I took a -1. It was sketchy. I took a -1. It was dirty. It was a low move. Goni messaged me mere seconds after kickoff. Mere seconds after kickoff to say, "What an idiot! You didn't set your lineup." They didn't win with honor last week. They didn't remind me to set my lineup. They knew that when I set my lineup, I'm a dog. So they made me take a -1, and it was just absolutely horrendous how they did it. I would never want to win that way personally. I want to be better.
Athletes ever have to get woken up, or do you think they set their own alarms and they show up when they're supposed to show up?
Sometimes they get woken up.
Oh well, not this time.
But yeah, that's just not how I want to win, Mad Mob. I want to win fair and square. I want to win because I beat you, not because you have a life and you just overlooked setting your lineup that week. That stuff happens, I've got 4 kids, full-time job. It is what it is. And Goni didn't want to win that way. He was scared. He didn't remind me. He just made fun of me after the games kicked off, and that's fine.
Absolutely. You're dumb.
Is he the Kyler Murray of DFS lineup setting?
He's the biggest crybaby of all time, man. Who only Austin Wayne Roberts can have a boo-hoo situation about something that is clearly his fault. I send out the lineups every week on Wednesday, and it doesn't even tell you. It doesn't even tell you who signed up, who did their roster. It just says completed 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3, or 3 out of 3. Didn't know.
I'll let the people decide whether this is. If this is me, I'm shooting out a text. Hey, one of y'all are forgetting to do it. Is it my fault that I forgot? Obviously, I'm not debating that. But if I see that one of you all haven't set your lineup, I'm going to be like, hey, man, one of y'all didn't set your lineup. Kind of like how I did with both of you for your pigskin pick'ems this week. Both of you forgot to make your pick'em picks, and I reminded you. Because I don't want to win. I want to win with honor, you know?
I stay on top of it.
You don't, because whenever you were over at my house this past week, I reminded you and you made all your picks.
I didn't. I already had them. I just had to make sure that I had them.
Same with Beggs. Beggs sitting on his couch, Thanksgiving, reminded him. And he made his picks for the week. Because I'd rather win because I'm better, because I'm smarter, faster, stronger. I'm Batman.
He let you miss 2, Beggs. I think you missed out on 2 of those games, no? So he let you do that, but the third one is the saving grace, and Wayne's a hero, right?
It's true, Goni.
Is that how you see it?
He could have missed out on a lot more if it wasn't for me. I digress. Mad Mob, I'm back. I made my lineup. What happened is what happens more often than not. I came out, and it was a slobber knocking. Wasn't even close from the jump. I absolutely beat the dog snot out of both of them. Wasn't even won by double digits on the second place guy. I came out. I had a point to prove. I think it's been proven. I absolutely dominated. I took a -1 on some crap last week, so I came out here and I got my 1 back by absolutely just dominating these fools.
You won by 12. It's not that big a deal.
If you just whooped you, double digits,
It's
double
low.
digit molly whopping.
It's really not that big.
It is. See, this is Goni, Mad Mob. Whenever he's not doing good, it's not that big of a deal. But when he's doing good, oh man, it's nuclear deal. Did you see how? Hey, Beggs. Did you?
I don't really
Did you
throw
see?
it out there like that, especially not on air.
Did you see how he hijacked the podcast for a little bit so he could just gloat about his doink that he forced you into, that he twisted your arm on? That was a big deal.
I love that Goni's used our entire governmental on this podcast in the first 15 minutes. I mean, you on my social, Goni?
Hey.
Wow.
That's what it is.
Just a bad guy. But, yeah, I got my +1 back. Goni came in second. Begley took a -1.
So, Joe, it was close.
What are the standings?
The standings. Gotta pull him up here now. I didn't expect this.
He didn't expect it because he's not in first.
I thought you were going to go on for another 5 minutes. Wayne's in first with 2. I am in second with 0, and Beggs is third with -1.
Wow. I'm in first by 2 and took a crappy -1 last week. Hilarious.
Why don't you boys just go ahead and make you a doink about this?
On what?
Who's going to finish with more points? Go ahead and double dip.
All right, cool. I'll make it.
Give him a 2-point cushion, huh?
I mean, it is what it is, man. I had it. It was even at the beginning.
You're not doing it, Gone?
Nah, I'm not going to do it.
Of course
I'm
he's not, dude. He only takes the gimmies. He only takes the one he's got to twist your arm to get.
Not doing the handicaps. Sorry. Beggs accidentally muted his mic, and he doesn't even know yet.
I didn't mute it. Wayne's wife is screaming into her phone, talking to my wife in the background. So,
wow,
they're absolutely yelling at each other. I don't know why. They're on the phone.
Hey, babe. Begley said that you need to shut up. You're talking way too loud. It is rude. That's what I thought when he said that.
Good times. Good times all around.
Mabel wanted some milk, dude. What do you want her to do?
I just realized I muted my mic, and my computer mic still picks up every bit of noise that comes through here. So, sorry. I tried.
That's not true. That's not true. I heard it coming through my wife's phone because your wife is yelling through her phone to my wife.
We're podcasting. Quiet in the house. You know what? If this was Goni,
listen, Mad Mob, a studio. We need a studio. We'll get.
Man, could you imagine a studio gone?
We'll get all sort of soundproofing. You know, we'll have that thing looking like Joe Rogan's area.
Man.
No phone calls in the background. No kids screaming.
No Outback Steakhouse ads.
No Outback Steakhouse ads. Maybe Begley will get a serviceable mic.
That'll be like the third or fourth purchase I make.
Third or
This was
fourth.
just
What's the
fine.
first and second?
We'd have to get a Mac and a good chair. Snacks. Tons of snacks.
Snacks
Obviously
are a
snacks.
must.
So that's
Yeah,
3
hey,
right there.
Well, he ain't wrong about that. Boys, we're 25 minutes into this. Time flies when you're roasting gone.
Let's talk Jets Bears.
Why?
Is Zach Wilson done?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike White came out and bawled, just like he did last year.
In a Superflex league, are you blowing the rest of your fab on Mike White?
Yeah.
At this point in the season, yeah.
Honestly, I went and scooped him up in a super flex like right before game time because I saw that he was going to be the starter. Just to have, I did play him in one league. He dropped like 24 or something, which is solid. Yeah, he's the guy. He's the guy for sure. Dude, how bad does it look that Zach Wilson could only put up 3 points just a week before, and Mike White comes out here and drops 30 plus in his first game out?
To be fair, Zach Wilson got the Patriots 2 of the last 3 weeks. I mean, that's a horrible, horrible matchup. But yeah, Mike White's loads better. Is Garrett Wilson a must start now?
Yeah, I think so. If you have him, he's just the offense getting better as a whole is just better for him. You could tell he's the one. He's the alpha for sure.
Yeah. Even the Bears offense didn't look atrocious against a very good Jets defense. Simeon had a pretty good game.
That's also true. I don't know how long Justin Fields is going to be out for either. He has a separated shoulder, so.
Man, this was my opportunity to strike back at you, and here I go, having my guy getting benched.
I know. He only needed 20 points every week for the rest of the season.
I was the second leading scorer in two leagues this week, and I lost.
It's brutal.
I beat.
It's a bad week.
It's brutal, man. I'm honestly sitting on, and my only redraft league, a redraft keeper. I looked at it today. I have the third most points scored in the league and the most points scored against. And I'm about to be 5-7.
That's a brutal time.
It's just bad matchups, man.
In our Toot Ball league, I dropped 200 and lost.
Brutal.
Yeah.
So Jets. Brees Hall comes back. Zach Wilson's gone. They're going to be nasty, right?
They've already
Fantasy
been nasty.
They're going to be a problem.
Yeah, their defense is good. Their run game is solid. Brees Hall or no, and
they got weapons offensively all over, like on the outside. Elijah Moore had a good week this week. Mike White fed everybody. Everybody ate.
Everybody ate. Who has a better fantasy outlook next year? Lions or Jets?
That remains to be seen, honestly. I want to go with the Jets first because you're hoping Mike White stays, but you don't know what the quarterback situation is going to be like next year for the Lions.
And if you're talking about from a fantasy perspective, we know what we're getting. Brees Hall's the one. You're getting that one play out of him. You just don't know what DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams, what that dynamic is going to do. Is Jamal Williams' contract up actually this year?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, you just never know. So he might go somewhere else, and DeAndre Swift is to the moon. Or they might re-sign him, and then it's this weird 50-50. You don't really want to start either of them, but at the same time you want to start both of them type of situation.
Yeah.
DeAndre Swift next year is scary to me, just as far as like when you go to draft him in your redraft leagues and it's your pick and he's sitting on the board. As of right now, this recording, like he's got to be one of the scariest guys to think about next year because he's still probably going to go late first round, early second.
Well, let me ask you all this. And obviously, I'll go ahead and preface this. Never, ever take two positional players off the same team. But who Which duo has more fantasy success next year? Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, or Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra? Assuming Mike White and Jared Goff stay.
Ooh.
I like Elijah Moore and Wilson personally.
I think I like the Lions pair, to be honest with you. I think that would be my go-to. With Hawkinson leaving, Jared Goff just loves Amon-Ra. He gets plenty of targets, and Jamison Williams is just a stud. So let that man get healthy. I mean, I don't think there's really a wrong answer here. It's a lot of what ifs, and we're talking about very young wide receivers, but that would be a close one. I think that would be a close one. I'm leaning more towards the Lions, though, is my point.
I think I am too.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I was going to give you. You know what? You want to know something I was excited about? You guys know I drafted Nyheim Hines in a lot of leagues this year. Buffalo went and traded for him, and they're not using him. It's weird. Why?
You know, I hated Nyheim Hines from the beginning and made fun of your love of him from the beginning, and you called me stupid and tried to spit a bunch of stats at me.
Yeah.
Make sure.
Yeah. He had his time, and he got. I mean, the Colts were just an absolute dumpster fire. But I think the Bills' backfield's weird, man. Singletary's the guy, right, for the rest of the season, no doubt. Are you playing him every week from here on out?
Probably. Without looking at the matchups even, it just seems like they're trying to get him more involved. They did last season as well. So, I mean, we might see – hopefully they go back to that trend. If you remember, like, his last 5 games of last season were phenomenal, like RB1 type numbers. And it was just because they gave him the ball more and more. And so you saw after Josh Allen's first game with the injury, didn't know if he was going to play. They fed him a lot. They dumped it down to him a lot. Yeah, I think he's going to be like a key cog to success for the rest of the season. And, I mean, just looking at it, it gets a little rough, though. It's New England, the Jets, Miami, Chicago, and Cincy for the Super Bowl. So, I mean, if he's getting 15-plus touches a game or 15-plus opportunities a game, I like it. I'd be willing to do that.
Yeah.
Flex at the least.
I think flex is probably where he belongs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of running backs, I want to pivot over to the Cowboys-Giants game. I'm going through the Thanksgiving slate. Zeke and Pollard, are you guys playing them every week?
Ugh.
Zeke's a tough one. I think Pollard
I'm
is
leaning more towards no.
Okay.
If I'm starting one, I'm probably starting Pollard at this point. And I know Zeke just had a pretty good game, but
He looked good, too. That's the thing. He had a good game, but he looked explosive.
I think he warrants consideration for sure because they have great matchups leading all the way up to the Super Bowl. I mean, Indy, Houston, Jacksonville, Philly, they're all favorable run, you know. So Pollard gets his, but at the same time, Zeke has already been proven to be like the goal line back. So you get that man down at like the 5-yard line, they're going to give Zeke the ball. They refuse to like let this man go away. Jerry Jones remembers every cent he had to pay this guy. So he's, I'm going to get these touchdowns out of you.
He's a dude, though, man. He's good. He's good at finding the red zone.
He is good.
Yeah. Oh, Wayne, rest of season. You like Pollard, Zeke, or do you like Ramondre Stevenson, Damian Harris?
that's probably a matchup play for me.
Okay.
I'm probably leaning more Stevenson, Damian Harris, because Stevenson has a very high floor right now. And I don't think Pollard or Zeke match Stevenson's output, either of them. So
Okay.
Damian Harris doesn't have to do too much.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, the only other comment I had on this game, I don't know if you guys have any or not, but Darius Slayton looks like a legit wide receiver 1 option for the Giants. I think he's a guy that you can slot in if you have to in emergency. Same with Michael Gallup. He's running into form. He looked good.
It's
Pick up your Darius Slaytons.
Yeah, he's strung a couple weeks together. It's surprising. It's kind of the opposite of Kadarius Toney that came over to Kansas City and blew up and then has done nothing since. Darius Slayton, you're right, has given us a couple straight weeks. I think he definitely warrants flex consideration at this point, depending on the matchup, for sure.
Yeah.
You guys think, just talking about guys to pick up and everything, you think Zonovan Knight for the Jets is worth a pickup this week? He came in, it was his debut. He's a rookie running back. Came in 14 carries, 69 yards, 3 receptions for another 34 yards. It's good for the RB23 on the week, but
how serious is Michael Carter's injury?
I mean, he sprained his ankle. He suffered an ankle injury. So, I mean, that leaves him and, I mean, I don't even remember who it was. If James Robinson is going to be just scratched every week, then what does that mean?
Yeah, at this point in the season, he and Jordan Mason both are flyers I think you have to take if you have any fab left.
I'm right there with you on that.
This is really the point where you really need to make smart waiver decisions because you can't trade your way out of any sketchy situations. You can't trade your way out of any late season injuries or anything like that. So now's the time post trade deadline to be very smart in your waiver pickups. So if there's any sort of possibility of a player breaking out as, a legitimate fantasy starter, I think he's definitely worth it at this point in the season.
I would take him, like him and Ty Johnson are the guys there. I'd preferably rather have Zonovan Knight. I know Ty Johnson got the touchdown, so he scored, a little bit more points, but he only carried the ball 5 times to Zonovan's 14. He got two targets also out of the backfield. So I want the volume in that. I think Zonovan Knight, I think you go for both of them, but you just spend up a little bit more on Zonovan Knight in hopes that you get him out of the two. Jordan Mason, definitely someone that we looked at before. What about JaMychal Hasty? How you guys feel about JaMychal Hasty?
I love him.
Disgusting, but you got to.
Yeah, I mean, do we know what's wrong with ETN yet?
It was a foot injury, but they said immediately after the game that he could have been put right back in the game. It was just more of a cautionary move. And
was it the same foot he injured his rookie?
Oh,
I don't know. That's a good question. I didn't see that. I'll have to look into it real quick.
For the love of fantasy and player safety, can we not get real grass in the NFL? In this multi-billion-dollar industry, can we not get grass?
Man.
How many turf toe injuries do you see in the Premier League,
Infinite.
in La Liga, in the Bundesliga? How many turf toe injuries do you see?
None. Hardly any.
Can we get real grass NFL? I mean, there's literal injuries happening all the time solely because these guys play on turf. And the only reason they're playing on turf is because it's a little cheaper.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, the Cardinals do it the right way, man. They have their grass bust in and bust out after every game.
And it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, you have a grounds crew whether you have turf or grass.
Yeah.
Just make them deal with the grass. I mean, Lord, you've got millions of dollars in assets on the field as well. Like, protect your assets. It doesn't make any sense to me. It never will until they just change it.
Yeah.
I digress.
I agree.
Boys, how do you feel like Deshaun Watson? Revenge game. Deshaun Watson is going to be activated this week. Playing Houston. What are we thinking here? What do we think? It's in Houston.
He's going to throw for 5 million yards.
Here's the thing. Let's talk about this. The Browns are 4-7. Jacoby Brissett played really well, right? What more are you going to get out of Deshaun than what Brissett gave you? He was solid.
You need continuity in the offense. You need the ring rust to be knocked off. At the beginning of the season, I was of the mind that, maybe they're so far out of the division that they don't risk hurting their asset they just paid all this money to. But now as we're closer to it and I'm seeing the picture that it actually might be that way with them being 4-7, you still need to have him out there. You need to see what you got. You got a new toy. You gotta take it out of the box, man.
And they're out of the picture. Absolute worst case scenario, he gets injured, and guess what? It doesn't change your season outlook, and you've got a whole off season to get him healthy again.
Yeah, you definitely play him. I guess where I was coming from was what's the word I'm looking for? Tamping? Is that the word? Tamping the expectation?
I have no clue what you're trying to say, dude. I'm confused.
Dampen.
That's what he was looking for. Tampering.
Tamper the expectations.
Temper.
That's what I said. Temper the expectations, right? Like Cleveland is what they are, I think. I mean, Brissett played well enough. I'm not sure what more Deshaun gives you. I mean, obviously he'll be better, but I don't know that it's. I'm trying to give you a name. If you have, okay, I'll give you a name. If you have Derek Carr, are you benching him for Deshaun Watson?
Like this week?
Yeah.
Well, let me just do a quick search here. Oh man, I'm going to bench him. Bench Derek Carr for Watson. Would you like to put a doink on it?
Who does Derek Carr play for the listeners?
He plays against the Chargers at home.
I will take a doink if you give me Dak Prescott.
You didn't bring up Dak Prescott, though.
I'm not want to take a doink on Carr, but I'll take a doink on Dak. I think Dak's a similar guy to Derek Carr, right? It's like one of those weird spots. Do I bench? Wayne, do you bench Dak for Deshaun Watson?
Who do they play this week?
Play Indy. I don't like that as much because Houston, when you're looking at them on the matchup, like I know they're one of the worst teams ever, but they have some of the lowest air yardage given up and like points to the quarterbacks because teams just get a big lead on them and then just run all over them. So like that's why I don't necessarily like it, is because I can just see Cleveland getting up and then Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt just having a day and running down clock, for the rest of the game.
Wayne, are you benching Dak Prescott for Deshaun Watson?
I'm not. I'm gonna keep Dak.
I probably would start Deshaun Watson.
All right, quick little game. You guys tell me if you bench the quarterback or play Deshaun Watson here, okay? Ryan Tannehill.
Oh, I need matchups. Do you have matchups for these or no?
Ryan Tannehill against the Eagles.
Bench and Tannehill.
Yeah, I'm playing Watson.
Trevor Lawrence against the Lions.
Trevor Lawrence.
Agreed.
Is that a yes, Wayne? Goff against Jaguars.
Playing Watson.
Playing Goff, I think.
Mike White against the Vikings.
Watson.
Playing Watson.
Kirk Cousins against the Jets. This is a good one.
Playing Watson.
Watson.
You know what Kirk just did to the Patriots? I think I'm taking Kirk on that one, man. He's hot. Mariota against the Steelers.
Watson.
Watson.
TJ Watt's back, man. TJ Watt is coming. He's trying to still set this sack record, son. He's got like 3 a game he needs.
Danger Russ against the Ravens.
Oh, Watson. Anyone. I'll take you, bro. I'll take you over Danger Russ.
Daniel Jones against Washington.
Watts.
I think I'll take
Watson.
Daniel Jones in that one.
Nah, I'm avoiding that divisional matchup.
I know it's a rough one, dude. I'm scared to do it. I'm not gonna lie. I just think I'm underrating Daniel Jones.
No, I think Daniel Jones has been great. I just think it's a divisional matchup, and I don't know if it's going to be a 13-10 game or a 48-38 game.
He's got 115 rushing yards and like 230 passing yards.
Yeah, I'm going to try and stay away from divisional matchups if I can.
Garoppolo against the Dolphins.
Watson.
Ooh.
Miami gives up punts.
I know. That's a good one. I think I'm going to take Jimmy. I don't love it, though. That's a tough one.
Burrow against the Chiefs.
Burrow.
Yeah, Matt Ryan against Dallas.
Watson.
Wayne.
Yeah, easy.
Last one, Geno against the Rams.
Watson.
Really? I'm taking Geno on that one. I'm with you guys on the rest, but give me Geno on that one. Interesting. So generally, Wayne, you seem to be higher on Watson than Goney is for sure.
I think so.
Yeah. Man, well, speaking of dangerous, I got your boys' juices flowing with that one. Wayne, I asked Goney earlier. He said he hadn't seen it. Have you seen the clip where the Broncos D lineman is lighting Russ Wilson up?
Yes. What's the name?
Purcell.
Yep.
What's your thoughts on what's going on in Denver, man, from a fantasy perspective?
From a fantasy perspective, I think there is nothing going on in Denver. I don't like anybody. Cortland Sutton's been playing okay.
Latavius Murray. If you can get Latavius Murray, if he's somehow still on your waivers, grab that guy.
Yeah, but even Latavius Murray isn't putting up like RB1 numbers like he is.
No, it's just we're late in the season, man. Anyone can go for you at any given game.
Yeah, I don't know. We've been saying since week 3 that it's Russ Wilson. He's going to figure it out. He ain't figuring it out. He sucks.
What about Kendall Hinton in a deep league?
No.
Never.
Listen, let me ask you all something that I
Greg Dulcich, yeah.
The question was posed. I forget where it was posed, honestly. Geno Atkins coming into Seattle, seeing immediate success. Is
Geno Atkins the defensive tackle? Geno Atkins?
For the Bengals?
Geno Smith. One of them Genos.
Oh, this is J.P. Shapley.
Oh, it was.
I know where you're going with this. Yeah,
you're right. Yeah, shout out John. Yeah,
yep.
Yeah. This was him, and it was. And I remember when Goney told me that, it made me think. I don't know why I never thought of it. Yeah, shout out John. Yeah, this was 100% him. Begley, is this a Pete Carroll thing? Is Russell Wilson not really that great? He was just put into a great system under a good head coach. And then when he left, he left the comfort of where it's at, and Geno Smith has slotted in and seen immediate success based on the system and the head coach.
I think it is a wide receiver thing, Wayne. I think Metcalf and Lockett are just that good. I mean, they made Russ look good. They're making Geno Smith look good, and Geno Smith has never looked good.
Yeah, but Russ Wilson also, because we talked about this a little bit before the pod, and it's something that before I talked to John about it this past weekend, I completely didn't even think about it at all either. But Russell Wilson played with like Doug Baldwin, who wasn't phenomenal. He was good. He was a pretty good wide receiver and stuff, but he didn't always have DK. Lockett was the 2. I think he started there as the 3. When Russ, like way back when. But, dude, it definitely makes you think that it could be a system scheme kind of deal.
He had beast mode a lot of his career there as well.
He had weapons, man. He had weapons. Wayne, I was talking to Gone. He referenced it. I'm starting to be a believer that receivers make quarterbacks, not the other way around. I mean, we can give you a ton of examples. Gone and I went through a bunch of them, and what would you say, Gone? For every 5, 6 ones we could think of, there was one dud. I mean,
obviously you're going to be better with better talent at a receiver, but like there's things you got to look at that just aren't being shown by look at this and look at this. You know what I mean? Like how many accurate passes are being dropped because of a receiver? You know what I mean? That goes on the quarterback stats. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, if they hit a guy right in the numbers and he drops it, when we look back on that, we just see that as an incompletion, on the quarterback side. You know what I mean? So, like, it's hard to just say. Obviously, if you have better receivers, you have a better opportunity to see more success. I mean, that's an easy point. But that doesn't mean that the quarterback is going to be like a garbage quarterback can be amazing with good receivers and vice versa.
Andre Johnson did it. DeAndre Hopkins did it. Just didn't have great quarterback play and early on in their career. DeAndre Hopkins now has gone to the promised land, and he had Deshaun Watson for a little while. But you're talking about before that, guys like Dan Orlovsky, just nobodies. David Carr for Andre Johnson.
Let's look at great receivers who didn't have good quarterbacks, or used to have good quarterbacks and then didn't and dropped off, or weren't good and then went somewhere to a good place with a good quarterback and saw immediate success. I mean, it goes both ways. This is such
who?
Julio Jones to Tennessee.
Come on, bro. He was 30. He was done. He was cooked.
That doesn't matter.
Come on. Give me somebody who is at least in their 20s.
Allen Robinson.
Allen Robinson left Jags, went to the Bears, and was elite.
Okay, and then he went to the Rams.
And with the best quarterback he's had, and was doo-doo water. But he's old.
I said Mike Wallace. Percy Harvin, I think, was another one as well. Braylon Edwards was one.
Mid receivers.
Deshaun Jackson.
It's understandable.
Deshaun was good when he left Philly. He went to Washington. He was good. He was fine there. He's a one trick.
He's definitely a one trick. But
I mean, look what Tyreek has made Tua look like.
Yeah, but he's got raw speed, though, man. He's a freak.
Yeah, I mean, Devonta the Carr, Diggs down. We talked about it. We talked about all these Diggs down. What was Kirk Cousins before Justin Jefferson?
But Tua's already good. He was already one of the most accurate passes. He was already one of the most accurate passers in the NFL. He just didn't have the fastest receiver in the NFL.
He didn't throw deep balls last year.
They were trying to get Deshaun Watson to Miami and Tom Brady to Miami. They had no faith in Tua at all.
And since then, he's been the most accurate passer. I mean, it is what it is.
Just for that side of it, though, man, look at who it is. You're talking about Deshaun Watson, before all the allegations and all the the baggage that came with it, one of the elite, I would argue, young quarterbacks in the league, and the GOAT. Of course, you're going to make room for that.
Sure, but again, look at what they did before they got Terry. They actively tried to replace Tua.
Look at the Juju fall off, and then he got a good quarterback, and now he's back.
The fall off, he tore all of his ACLs. He had no fall off there.
When AB left Pittsburgh, he was not good.
Juju was a Pro Bowler in Pittsburgh.
I don't think after that
first year. When AB left, Juju was not good.
All right, I'll give you another example. Let's look at AJ Brown. He's making Ryan Tannehill. He made Ryan Tannehill look way better than he looks now. He's making Jalen Hurts look better now than he's ever looked in his career. All facts. Receivers make the quarterbacks, boys. And so in fantasy, I think next year, and just in years, I'm not going to value so much the quarterback that these super elite wide receivers are playing with. You just give me the talent.
Talent usually wins the day, regardless, honestly, when it comes down to it. But another one that I had on your side, Wayne, is other guys without quarterbacks that have been really good through their career was Terry McLaurin. Mm-hmm. Your boy DJ Moore is a prime example of that as well. Just they need a quarterback, man. They can be good. They can absolutely be good. It's just they're playing with trash, absolute trash. You have it on the other side, though. It goes both ways, more or less. Like anyone who played with Peyton Manning was considered a pretty good wide receiver. He made guys like Brandon Stokely and there was another dude. They had another guy that was the 3. It ended up being pretty good. Who is it?
Eric Decker?
Yeah. I was thinking more so with the Colts. Anthony Gonzalez. That's who it was.
Yeah. DJ Moore, right? He makes Sam Darnold look good this last week. Sam Darnold's not good.
Look at any quarterback that left New England or any receiver that left New England?
There's not been many. Wes Welker,
Awful.
he was incredible in Denver.
Oh, he was very good until his
He was
brain
so
got
good.
turned silly.
He
Buddy.
he got turned. He has the worst case of CTE of all time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, like, when you look at the numbers, success follows receivers generally.
All
Surprising.
right, to bring it the other way around though, for Wayne's side, Emmanuel Sanders. Emmanuel Sanders was made by Peyton Manning, and then he left there, and he's been trash ever since.
When he left Denver, was he old? He started in Pittsburgh, I think, right?
He did start in Pittsburgh,
He
but
was
didn't
good in
have
Pittsburgh?
like a 5-year deal or anything like that.
No, but he was good in Pittsburgh. He was good in Denver. Then he got old. I mean, there's an age drop off that corresponds there. I mean, let's
like
take
30,
Hollywood Brown. Let's take Hollywood Brown. Right? Lamar's passing numbers this year compared to last year, they're down. No, that's a fact.
But that's a dumb argument. Like, obviously, like, you need receivers. You need receivers just like receivers need a quarterback to put it in their hands. There's obviously more talented receivers in the NFL, and quarterbacks are going to see more success with more talented wide receivers, just like wide receivers can see more success with more talented quarterbacks. This
Right.
is just a weird argument that you're trying to make.
It's not a weird argument I make. All I'm saying is, if you look at a bad quarterback who gets a good receiver, the quarterback's going to improve because the receiver's there, right? And if you have a good quarterback who loses a good receiver, the good quarterback's going to get worse. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Who was Andrew Luck's best wide receiver? Don't tell me an old Reggie Wayne either. T.Y. Hilton?
Yeah, it had to be T.Y.
So what happened to T.Y. Hilton afterwards?
After Andrew Luck, I'd say T.Y. got hurt. Would be my argument there. And he also got old.
I mean, anyone else though? Andrew Luck was one of the top quarterbacks in the league, and if T.Y. Hilton's the only name that comes to mind, then
It's all he had from what I remember.
so I mean, I would argue that Andrew Luck made T.Y. Hilton.
I think that's a good example.
That's all with that. But for the Lamar thing, just yeah, of course the passing numbers went down, dude. He's Rashad Bateman, who's hurt all year, and Devin Duvernay.
It's the same thing.
Scrapped.
It's the same thing with Tannehill. They got rid of their number one and never replaced him, and then the guy they drafted was injured all year. Like, that's obvious.
And it's a run first team. They're run first teams anyways.
Yeah, they are. But the point I'm trying to make is, and this is all circling back to Russell Wilson, right?
And let's talk about Kirk Cousins. He had Stephon Diggs, and Stephon Diggs was amazing with Kirk Cousins, and Kirk Cousins was amazing with him. And then he got traded to another great quarterback, and he's been amazing as well.
And Kirk Cousins was absolutely mid before he went to Minnesota. He was awful in Washington.
He didn't have any weapons.
He had Deshaun Jackson. He had he had a few weapons in Washington.
Who?
I'll tell you here in a second. I don't want to railroad the show, but to circle back while I look this up, Russell Wilson, good quarterback. I think he was buoyed by his weapons in Seattle.
I think he's got better. I really think he's got better weapons here.
I totally disagree with you.
See, that was the main thing though for him coming in is Denver for years has just been saying we're just a quarterback away from winning a Super Bowl. We're a quarterback away, and I mean he's got the weapons aren't the problem here. Regardless, even if say you took the Seattle side of it, the drop off to the Broncos, even in your mind, can't really be that much for him to be this bad, right?
Well, I think the biggest problem with Denver is our offensive line. I think all 5 linemen are backups at this point.
I mean, but still, dude, he's playing his way out of Hall of Fame consideration at this point.
Yeah, he's awful.
People are going to be calling the longevity into question when he gets up on the ballot if he continues to play this way.
Yeah.
Like, Russell Wilson played many years before DK Metcalf. His receivers were Sidney Rice and Golden Tate, Doug Baldwin, Golden Tate, Doug Baldwin, Jermaine Kearse, Doug Baldwin, Jermaine Kearse, Tyler Lockett, Doug Baldwin, Jermaine Kearse, Tyler Lockett, Doug Baldwin, Tyler Lockett. Like, dude, he had Doug Baldwin and Tyler Lockett most of his career in Seattle. And you
Good.
think Doug Baldwin and Tyler Lockett are just leaps and bounds better than Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton?
I think Tyler Lockett's better than anybody's got on Denver right now.
Okay,
Maybe
sure.
now that's understandable.
But as a tandem, would you take Doug Baldwin and Jermaine Kearse over Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy?
I wouldn't take those two, but that was before he found a lot of success too. I would argue he didn't find success until Tyler Lockett joined Seattle.
Could be. I don't know.
See-
Either way though, the drop off, like you guys, I understand the argument you guys are trying to have, but it's not like he's going from the Chiefs offense down to the Raiders offense.
But
No.
I mean, is it? Hackett.
It's just bad. It's just not that good. It could be that's what leads me to believe, man. It's got to be the coaching, the scheming, everything of the sort, man. Can't tell me he's not used to breathing mile-high air by now.
Maybe. You know what? I mean, honestly, I think there are a couple coaches that are just incredible coaches. But as an NBA fan, I thoroughly believe the talent makes the coach, not the other way around. Belichick, Popovich, those guys are outliers. Like, those are truly elite coaches, right? But what's Phil Jackson without Kobe and Mike? You know, I think the talent makes the coach. Peyton Manning made Jim Caldwell look great for a year. He's doo-doo water.
My thing is Russell Wilson since 2015, going all the way to this year, his completion percentage 68, 65, 61, 66, 66, 69, 65, and this year 59. He's just not accurate. He's just not as accurate as he has been in the past. And it has nothing to do with a drop-off in talent because it is a very slim drop-off in talent.
It's the humidity.
I'd say it's also, yeah, I mean, he's looked awful.
Difference in humidity.
You think it's the air? That Denver air?
Pressure, air pressure, you know, all these
This is
scientific
literally
things going on.
this is literally by far the most least accurate he's been in his entire career. Career.
Look at his pressure rate. If you have the stats pulled up this year, honestly, I know Denver's line has just been decimated with injuries. Go on. While he looks that up, the Commanders roster with Kirk Cousins at QB.
Mm-hmm.
Deshaun Jackson, Pierre Garçon, Santana Moss. Not terrible.
Not terrible.
How old was Santana Moss when he was there, though?
I'm saying,
Lord have
though,
mercy.
regardless, like you're looking at it from a fantasy perspective, which is unfair. You're talking about a guy who was drafted in the third round of the same draft that they took Robert Griffin III, number 2 overall, ended up outplaying him, got a job, got franchise tagged again, and then sent on his way for a monster payday in Minnesota, and he's been crushing it ever since. He's been good enough. If we're talking from pure football, from fantasy, yeah, nah. I mean, no one wanted Kirk Cousins back then.
Yeah. I'm just, again, right, circling it back to Russ, I personally think they're the last 3 years he's had DK and Lockett. I'm a believer that talent makes it. So I was looking up the free agent wide receiver class next year.
Can I interject on Russell Wilson?
Yeah.
I don't see his pressure percentage, but throughout his whole career, as of right now, this is the second fewest amount of sacks that he's taken in his entire career. Second fewest in his entire career. And just to go off of that, the most he took in his entire career was 2019, when he averaged his third most yards passing in his career, his second highest QBR, and his third highest passer rating was when he took the most sacks in his career. And that was in 2019, a mere 3 seasons ago.
Yeah.
Even when he was getting sacked the most,
mm-hmm.
and under the pressure the most, he was almost the most successful he's been in his career under duress.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, that
now
was his
he's
game, right?
taking some of the fewest sacks in his entire career, and he's again averaging, aside from his rookie year, the fewest yards per game, his worst QBR in his entire career, and his worst passer rating in his entire career. He just looks awful, and I can't really call it.
He looks terrible.
It's just hard to call it
I mean,
talent drop off.
My opinion is the drop off in wide receiver talent, right? I mean, the Judy hype. Yeah, he's hyped up, but he's never done anything. He just hasn't. Judy doesn't have the stats to back up the hype. Cortland Sutton had one super elite year, and it was elite, and that's all he's had.
Injuries.
Yeah, injuries. Exactly. If you can't stay on what's the best ability, Wayne? Availability, my friend. Period. I don't know. I was looking at the 23 free agent class next year, guys who could move, again, from a fantasy perspective. It's dry. Nelson Aguilar, Paris Campbell, DJ Chark, Randall Cobb, Jarvis Landry, Jacoby Myers is the biggest name.
It's because we got so many running backs coming out.
Jarvis Landry, yeah. Juju and Jacoby are really the only two big names who could be moving teams next year.
You know what that means?
What's that?
Draft your wide receivers in this rookie draft. That's what that means to me.
There's not many good ones. It's about 3, maybe 4. How you feel about Butte from LSU? Quentin Johnson from TCU is going to be incredible, though.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. You never know. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. For sure.
All right, gentlemen. Tip of the cap on this one.
Tip of the cap.
Tip of the cap, laddies.
Tip of the cap, boys.
Mad Mob, we'll see you later on this week. Actually setting your DFS lineup for MVP.